Ladies and gentlemen, it's a big, weird, wild world out there, folks, and here we stand. Al pie del cañón, ready for anything. I'm Rob, that's Dan, and you're listening to...
The ProBoh Show!
Good morning, everyone, on this Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, Dan.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday of the... It's Wednesday of the year as well. It's the midpoint of the year. How you doing? How you doing in there, Dan?
Well, I'm tired. I can't sleep at night.
No, you couldn't sleep last night. You know, I'm tired too. How many hours did I sleep last night? 6.9. Not enough. Is it because of the heat still?
Yes.
It's only going to get worse, dude, next week. I'm sorry to break that to you. It's only going to get worse. Anyway, on that good news. Don't worry, Dan. I won't pick on you today. Now, let's see who's joining us live, shall we? We've got Eugene here from Russia. He says, hi, guys. The bridge is here. Good morning, beautiful Bonnie Bouncy Bohemians and Bonnie Bouncy Bob and darling dashing dandy Dan Dan. What's up, guys? Vero's with us. Good morning, beautiful Bohemians around the universe and beyond. Good morning, Vero. If you want to be as cool, as sexy, as charming, as influential, as intellectual, as impactful, as... amazing as our beautiful live audience, you can join us live on twitch.tv/professional bohemian. That's twitch.tv/professional bohemian. And come and have me be the conduit of your ideas by typing live in the chat. It is the first day of July, friends. Let's see what's coming up in today's show. Today we're talking about school, Dan. You're a little closer to the school years than I am. But nonetheless, I think we can talk with some authority on this one, given that we both went. Today's topic is with regards to same-sex schools. Same-sex schools are bad for children. Do you know what that means, Dan? Same-sex schools?
Yes.
Yeah. Los colegios segregados por sexo. So same-sex schools are bad for children. That's today's unpopular opinion. And today's 100 Humans is name something you didn't or don't learn at school. Nombra algo que no se aprende en el colegio. That's today's 100 Humans question. All of that coming up later, friends. Right now, I'm here. You're here. Our amazing angelic podcast listeners are here. Let's see what's going on in the world. First of all, Mike is here. He says, good morning, dear Bohemians. It's Wednesday, but at least Cabo Verde is still in the World Cup. Dan, I'm so rooting for Cabo Verde, man. On Saturday. And who are they playing? Argentina. Oh, blah, blah, blah. Tomorrow we've got a World Cup topic.
Tomorrow plays Spain.
Do they?
Yes.
Perfect timing. Perfect timing to alienate all of Spain against me in the show. Yeah, it's not going to be a popular opinion. Hence the name, unpopular opinion. But we don't care. So stay tuned for that. Maybe I'll tell you later what the topic is for tomorrow. But it is World Cup related. Bridge here says, I shall remain horizontal on Dan's least favourite day as long as possible. Oh. I wish I was laying in bed right now, Dan. How many hours do you think you slept last night?
Maybe 5.
Really? Only? Aye, poor Dan. Poor Dan. And because of the heat or because you were engrossed in some kind of a video game?
No, because of the heat.
Because of the heat, yeah. Dude, it's tough. And yesterday wasn't even that hot, was it?
No, it was a normal day.
Yeah, I think today we're getting we're going to see a high of 36 today. Today's going to be a tough one. A high of 36, a low of 18 tonight. Currently 23 degrees in the Madrid area. So if you're in Madrid, do stay well hydrated, friends. All right, let's get to some news, shall we? I'm going to take a little bit of a departure. We've been speaking about the heat wave so much. I don't think we solve anything by harping on about it. So let's talk about the Mexican Batman. What? Do you know the Mexican Batman, Dan?
No.
No? El Hombre Murciélago? No, it's not called the Has anyone out there heard about the Mexican Batman? This is a real vigilante. The Mexican Batman vigilante wanted for chasing down suspected thieves and taping them to lampposts. You've not seen any videos, any
Well,
viral?
yes. I've seen
Okay.
photos.
Okay, there you go, you see. Now,
But it's a violent guy.
he's a violent guy.
The photos are full of blood.
Yeah, I mean, he does hurt the bad guys, yeah. He's not quite like our Batman, Dan. Buscan un vigilante. Do you say vigilante? Yes, right?
Yes.
Vigilante. Vigilante mexicano conocido como Batman por perseguir presuntos ladrones y atarlos con cinta adhesiva a farolas. I knew you would have known about this, Dan, because I too have seen images of people sellotape to lampposts in my feed and never really got the context of why. Hence why we're tabling it today, because our algorithms are awfully bad at context, aren't they? Isn't Zorro the Mexican Batman? Yeah, I think technically speaking, yeah. All right, let's get into it. A vigilante dubbed the Batman of Lagos de Moreno is being sought by police in Jalisco, Mexico, after an allegedly tracking down suspected thieves, taping them to lampposts, and marking some of them with whiskers, mustache, and the word ratero, meaning thief. I'm not seeing anything about blood here, Dan. I'm not seeing anything about blood, but we'll continue. According to reports, at least 5 men were found bound in this way over a 10-day period in Lagos de Moreno. So, with some appearing injured, there you go, some appearing injured and some left beside bicycles they were accused of stealing. What are your thoughts on this, Dan? What are your thoughts on this?
I think it's not fair to just a violence with violence.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're thieves more than violent criminals.
Well, then it's worse.
Then it's worse. Yeah. Yeah, it is worse, isn't it? But it does make me smile. You know? I mean, don't get me wrong. He's going after thieves, Dan. He's not taping nuns to lampposts. You know what I mean?
But that's the first step.
That's the first step. It starts with thieves and then it's priests. You know what I mean? He is kind of going after the bad guys. I don't know. I think my love of comic books rubs up against my rational nature. I mean, rationally speaking, the guy's a vigilante, and we should leave that kind of thing in the hands of the police, right? But apparently this may be a reaction to a slow-moving, lethargic police force. Anyway, let's continue. The incidents appear to reflect, here we go, frustration with the pace of local law enforcement. But prosecutors say the tied men are currently being treated as victims because they were unlawfully assaulted and restrained. Emergency services eventually freed the men. Police are searching for the person responsible, and investigators are also examining the alleged thefts themselves. No arrests have been made at the time of the report. Are you hoping they catch him, Dan, or do you want him to go free? There's the question. There's $1 million question. Do you want him to go free, or do you want him to be caught?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, there's a massive part of me, I'd be lying, that wants the guy caught, you know? But then there's a little part of me that enjoys comic books and justice, thinking, continue, Batman. Do your thing. Bridge says, I, as usual, went to a school which had, in the past, been segregated. So, we'll get to the unpopular opinion in a little bit. Anyway, sorry. Let's do another piece of news. It is, of course, very, very common fare in today's in this series of in this series of the ProBoh Show. The world's richest 10% are costing the Earth trillions, a study finds. This is from Science Alert. El 10% más rico del mundo está costando billones a la Tierra, según un estudio. Mike says, false friend, vigilante in English is justiciero in Spanish. Oh, it's not vigilante. Thank you. That's from Mike. Vigilante is a security guard, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, there you go. Oh, thank you, Mike. So, a vigilante. Justiciero. Thank you, Mike. Oh, I appreciate that. Anyway, let's get into this. So the 10% of the world's richest are costing the Earth trillions, according to a study. This is coming from Science Alert. A new study has put a price tag on the environmental damage caused by the world's richest 10%. And it's staggering. Researchers from Leiden University estimate that in 2017 alone, this group caused between $1.7 trillion and $5.7 trillion in annual environmental harm, around $2,300 to $7,500 per person. The study argues that the wealthiest consumers are disproportionately responsible for damage linked to biodiversity loss, climate change, nitrogen and phosphorus disruption, and fresh water use. Biodiversity loss made up the largest share of the total bill, followed by climate change. The researchers say these findings strengthen the case for targeted environmental tax based on the polluter pays principle. They argue that even conservative estimates suggest that the top 10% in countries like the US and China could generate enough revenue to help close major biodiversity and climate funding gaps. Dan, if you were mega rich, would you own a jet?
I probably.
Yeah, and would you use it?
Maybe, yes.
Oh, Dan, you're part of the problem. You don't. Go on.
To be sincere, if I were a millionaire, I wouldn't care about the rest of the world. I would completely don't care.
You know, the sad thing is, I think it's true. I think most people are the same. You know what I think the problem is with wealth? I think the idea that you've garnered so much wealth in your life, whether it be inherited or not, I think it just reinforces a class system that we have baked into our DNA. Us versus them. You know, the new feudal lords of society. Like 10% of the people causing that much environmental damage. And what do? Nothing. We do nothing. Oh, there's a private jet. Oh, we need to curb emissions. Oh, well, let's make low-cost airlines pay more in taxes. Oh, hello. How about taxing the private jets, right? It's crazy. Anyway. In the US, the top deciles estimated annual environmental bill ranged from $19,000 to $63,000 per person, while in India it was much lower, reflecting deep inequalities in global consumption and emissions. The study does not present taxation as a complete solution, but it suggests that asking the highest consuming households to pay more could become an important part of funding the transition to a more sustainable future. Yeah, maybe. But then again, I mean, we do carry a lot of the weight for environmental cost on the shoulders of individuals, when really, even counting here the top 10%, really it's companies and businesses that are causing most of the environmental damage, right? And not just in airfare, but in actual polluting that happens through production. Anyway, enough of me proselytizing to you guys. Let's move on to today's unpopular opinion.
Unpopular opinion.
Okay, today's unpopular opinion is same-sex schools are bad for children. Los colegios segregados por sexo son perjudiciales para los niños. Did you go to a same-sex school, Dan?
No.
Do you know what the term is for a school with both men and women in it? Mixed, co-ed. You know, there are several phrases. So you went to a mixed or a co-ed school?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Do you know anyone who went to a single-sex school?
I don't think so, no.
I do. I know a few, actually, but one person I know very well. It's my girlfriend. She went to a single-sex school. And we were talking about this over the weekend, or perhaps a few days ago, the idea of same-sex schools perhaps maybe not preparing kids for life outside. You know, the fact that the real world doesn't segregate us by gender, does it? But there has to be more to the argument because, you know, Sophie in many ways is a lot better adjusted to life, you know, normal life than I am. I went to a co-ed school and I'm a bit of a strange bird, aren't I? The kind of man capable of sitting down and filling an hour of silence with next to no information. So it's interesting to me, like, does it really matter? Does segregation of schools really matter? Is it something that is bad for children? Is it something that's good for children? Or does it have no net effect? That's what we're talking about today. Go on, Dan. You were going to say something.
Can I ask you something?
Of course.
Why would you want your kid to know relacionarse with people from the other gender?
Why would I not? Or why would I want?
Why would you... ¿Por qué no querrías?
Oh, no, I would prefer my kid go to a co-ed school.
Wouldn't it be sexist if you just want him or her to be with her own gender?
I think the thought, I mean, we'll get into the pros and cons in a little bit, but I think the thought is when you want to send a kid to I mean, I have no skin in the game. Number one, I don't have children. Number two, I went to co-ed schools. But I think part of the rationale in favor of sending kids to single-sex schools is that there are less distractions. The hormonal aspect of a teenager just awakening into their sexuality and having boys or girls around is a bit of a distraction away from learning. I think that's one of the attractions. And then, of course, a lot of single-sex schools tend to be religious in nature, you know. I mean, at your school, did you have any teen pregnancies?
No, maybe one.
One. I mean,
it was from outside the school. Just the girl went to the school.
I assumed it wasn't during gym class, then.
No, I mean that the father was not going to the school.
Partner up. Dude, I would have gone to gym class if that's what it was.
That's not what I meant.
No, I get you. Yeah, there were, I think in my school, I mean, the economic band that I was in at the time lent itself to a lot of that kind of thing. There were a few teen pregnancies in my school. It became a little bit of a wave. And the idea that that's taken completely out of the equation is very alluring to some parents. I think you probably understand that, right? But is it beneficial for kids? I would say, well, look, why the hell do you want to know my opinion? No one wants to know my opinion. Let's see what you guys said. How do you think they voted on Instagram, Dan? Same-sex schools are bad for children. Do you think they agreed or disagree?
I think they agreed.
They did agree. 72%. Do you think they're bad for children?
Yes.
You do? Okay. Well, let's get into it, shall we? Because I asked Sophie about this, who actually went to a single-sex school, and she said no. And I think my preconception was yes, that they are in some way. Bad is a big word, isn't it? It's doing a lot of load-bearing. So let's get into it. Bridge here says, Rob, you are the supreme waffler. Yeah, I do my best, Bridge. I do my best. All right, let's get into the pro column where 72% of our audience voted today. Same-sex schools are harmful. They don't reflect the real world. Adult life involves studying, working, and socializing with people of different genders. Mixed schools give children daily experience navigating those interactions. Yeah, there's a fact, right? Like, look, no. Where the time where the hormones are at their strongest, we keep them segregated. Look, you're going to have to deal with the hormones at one point or another. Are you not maybe creating a generation of kids that are just going to be sex crazy? I don't know, because obviously I never went to a single-sex school, but my girlfriend did, and I'm not sure that's the case with her. Schools aren't meant to perfectly replicate society anyway, are they? Are they designed to create the best environment for learning? And surely a distraction-free environment, at least as it pertains to sexuality, is probably for the net benefit, isn't it? They can reinforce gender stereotypes. Separating boys and girls may imply that they learn fundamentally differently or should be treated differently. I don't know. Do you think that's an interesting argument? Yes. Segregating them implies that they learn differently. I don't think it implies that they learn differently. If anything, it probably challenges gender stereotypes more than it reinforces them. I don't know. They reduce social development. Students may have fewer opportunities to develop healthy relationships and communication skills with the opposite sex. Yeah, I wonder how many... Here's an interesting idea for me. I think going to a co-ed school, you learn very quickly to have friendships with the opposite sex. You probably learn that. I mean, it's not so institutional in nature, though. Like, institutionally, you have to work in mixed groups. Learn how to deal with boys. Learn how to deal with, or on the other side of the spectrum, learn how to deal with girls in a group setting, working with them. I mean, I think that has to benefit kids, doesn't it? Or does it? They can make mixed environments feel more intimidating. Students who have spent years in same-sex schools may initially struggle when entering universities or workplaces. Again, I can only speak for what Sophie told me the other day, but she said that wasn't the case. For me, it's hard to imagine that it wouldn't be. No? You go to university, it's your first exposure to working in a group dynamic with people of the opposite sex. I mean, you'd assume, professionally speaking, there's not that much difference, right? Oof, it's a tough one today. Final point we'll cover here in the pro column. Relationships become more idealized. Limited day-to-day interaction can lead to unrealistic assumptions or increased awkwardness around the opposite sex. I mean, look, even adolescents in mixed schools can develop unrealistic ideas about relationships. Isn't that what Disney movies are for? Happily Ever After and the like. Research has not consistently shown that same-sex education produces better academic outcomes once factors like family background and school selectivity are considered, which is something important to take into account. It's something important. Same-sex schools don't produce better outcomes as much as family background and school selectivity do. Anyway, let's get into the cons now, where I think it was 29%? No, 28%. I don't know if that moved. 28% of people voted today saying same-sex schools can benefit children. Some argue students focus more on learning when teenage social dynamics and romantic pressures are reduced. Is my rebuttal to that. Learning to manage those distractions in itself is an important life skill. You may end up working with someone you find attractive. Right? Or going to university and being involved in a group a group project where you find someone attractive. Learning how to deal with those distractions surely in itself is a life skill that school should be preparing you for, right? Students may feel more comfortable taking leadership roles or participating in subjects that are stereotypically associated with the opposite gender. Yeah, but look, a supportive mixed school can achieve the same outcome without segregating people by gender, right? Tailored teaching environments. Some educators argue that boys and girls have different classroom dynamics that may benefit from different teaching approaches. Differences within each gender are often greater than the differences between genders. Look, like, some boys are great at science, some boys are great at sports, some girls are great at sports, some girls are great at science. The spectrum of skills that can be that you can see on display within the same gender are much greater range than the differences between the genders, I think. There is not that much difference, I think, between the way we learn, right? Or is there? Reduced peer pressure. Some students report feeling less pressure about appearance or impressing the opposite sex. Let's not kid ourselves. Look, appearance-related pressure and bullying exists in same-sex groups too, right? Parents deserve educational choice. Families should be free to choose the educational environment they believe best suits their child. True story. True story. But personal preference doesn't necessarily mean that the model is best for a children's long-term development. Just because you prefer one thing doesn't necessarily mean it's better, does it? Or does it? It's an interesting one today. Did you go to a same-sex school, an all-girls or an all-boys school? Do you have any ideas about this one? What do you think? Well, I will post a poll, una encuesta, in the chat. I see a few comments. I see a few comments appearing in the chat right now. Do leave more. I look forward to getting to those after the commercial break. But right now, your job is to vote. Same-sex schools are bad for children. Los colegios segregados por sexo son perjudiciales para los niños. True or false? Okay, get on the business of voting, and I will see you in a few short minutes. Hey guys, if you'd like to support the show, you can do so on Patreon. That's patreon.com/professional bohemian. There you'll find VODs of the episodes as they are recorded live, blogs, vlogs, and behind-the-scenes content. If you'd like to watch the show live, you can do so on twitch.tv/professional bohemian, and you can participate in the polls we use in the show on Instagram @professional bohemian or Twitter @ProBoh, ProBoh. Okay, on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. How are you doing? It's now 9 a.m. Central European Time on this, the 1st of July. We are officially over halfway. Dude, Christmas feels like yesterday. What the hell is happening? Is it just me? Or is this year just flying ahead at breakneck speed? Oh my gods. But yeah, we are in the summertime officially and halfway through the year. Congratulations, Dan. It's the Wednesday of the year. Pwah, pwah, pwah. Don't worry. Autumn is just around the corner, Dan. You'll make it. Did you actually make any plans for the summer yet?
Not yet. No.
Are you going to go somewhere though, right?
In August, but I don't know where.
You have no idea where. You know what? Me too. For the last month, me and my lady have been saying, "Oh, we're going to go away in August," and we haven't planned anything. I can see a future where we just do a couple of days of the Camino de Santiago and call it. Anyway, should we get back into the show? I think we should. You still have 5 minutes left to vote on our poll. That poll, of course, is same-sex schools are bad for children, true or false? Interesting how that's shaping up in the audience. Our Instagram poll that we posted yesterday has shifted a little bit. True is still in the lead, 69% now, 31% false. But we turn our attention to our thought leaders and the poll in the audience. If you want to join that poll and express your opinion, twitch.tv/professional bohemian. That's twitch.tv/professional bohemian. That's Bohemio Profesional, pero en inglés. Of course, you can always interact with the show on my Instagram outside of our lifetimes. That's also @professional bohemian. Or if you're extra specially cool and sexy and charming, you can join me on my Patreon and get all the benefits there. What did you miss if you've just tuned in? Well, we looked at the Mexican Batman, and we were kind of debating whether we wanted him caught or not. Did you say yes, Dan, in the end? You want him to be caught?
I don't know.
I've got to admit, Dan, the more I think about it, the more, and I hate to admit this, the more I want him to just continue. It's a hilarious story. He's not seriously injuring people. He's taping them to lampposts. Thieves.
Well, I've seen photos that he's injuring them.
I mean, he's painting little whiskers on their face. He's calling them rateros, thieves. I don't know.
But who watches The Watchmen?
Yeah, I know you're right, Dan. I know you're right. And like, rationally speaking, I know you're right. I get it. Vigilante, justiciero. Not vigilante. Not vigilante. That's, as we discovered in the first part of the show, a security guard. So it's a justiciero in Mexico that is sellotaping thieves to lampposts and causing some injury, according to Dan. It does actually say in the report, with some appearing injured. Yeah, I mean, look, he should be caught. He should be caught, shouldn't he? But I've got to admit, I just find it endlessly entertaining. Anyway, and then we looked at an interesting article from Science Alert stating that the world's richest 10% are costing the Earth trillions of dollars in environmental damage. Interesting stuff. And then we moved into today's unpopular opinion, which is same-sex schools are bad for children. Again, it's shifted some more while we were talking. It's now 70% true, 30% false on Instagram. But the poll that really matters right now is the poll in our chat. Okay, I'll let you know the results when the poll is over, but right now I want to read some of your ideas here in the audience. Bridge says, I, as usual, went to a school which had, in the past, been segregated. So although I have always attended mixed schools, it was separated on 2 sites, and we spent a lot of time walking between the 2 sites on the opposite ends of the, of the school area. Interesting, Bridge. I'm just now thinking that the same-sex schools could now be considered limiting. Only 2 sexes? Well, they do say that, don't they? That it's a spectrum. But for the purposes of this debate, yeah, we're only covering the 2 basic flavors, I guess. Don't laugh, Dan. You're laughing because you're thinking, how the hell is he going to wade through this with his size 11 shoes?
Cancelled.
For the purposes of this argument, we're going to go for the 2 flavors of sexes. Thanks. Dan, don't get me into trouble.
Vanilla or chocolate? No.
You're going to get me into trouble in there. Vero says, true. Schools should be co-educational. It's always important to understand how people of the opposite sex think. Plus, someone of the opposite sex can help you understand certain things. Yeah. I mean, what is the purpose of school, Dan? What is the purpose of school?
Education.
To educate you.
Yeah.
But for what ends?
For a better future of society.
To educate or to prepare you for the world? Educate.
I guess both of them. But...
Both of them. I guess your feelings on this is going to depend what your personal kind of thought is about what school is for. Is it to educate you, enrich you, fill you full of the world's knowledge? Or is it to better prepare you for the world outside of education when you're an adult? Because if it's for education, then you could make a really strong argument how same-sex schools might be beneficial, removing the distraction of the opposite sex.
But you say it as if straight was the only sexuality.
I didn't say anything of that.
Yes, if the problem is
so maybe
hormones,
so maybe there are gay people attending single sex or same sex schools, maybe, but for the vast majority of the students, right, it's going to be more or less an attraction-free environment, right? I think you can agree with that for the majority of the students. Because what you're saying now is, it sounds like at least, same-sex schools are turning people gay.
No, I say.
Well, there you go, Dan. Toma. Yeah. See? He's trying to paint me into a corner. Just painted you back, Dan.
Don't believe anything you hear on the radio.
For the vast majority of the students, if you believe that education is the primary function of the school system, just education, filling a pail full of knowledge, then you can make a strong argument how same-sex schools are removing, for the majority of students, for our Dan in there, who's going to be really pedantic today, for the majority of students, removing attraction, how that might benefit. But if you think, like I think I do, that school is to prepare you for life as an adult, prepare you to be a productive member of society, then perhaps you could, I think the strongest argument is, well, it's not doing that because a part of society is the opposite sex and dealing with perhaps attraction or hormones or whatever obstacles may be thrust in your path having to work with members of the opposite sex. It's not preparing you for that by segregating you out. So you believe education first. Which do you think is the strongest pull of the school system? Preparing you for adult life or education, Dan?
Preparing you for adult life.
Which would pretty much explain both mine and your opinion that, true, they're bad for children. Interesting. It's an interesting little mental exercise, this. I'm enjoying it a lot. Eugene says, true, a same-sex school sounds to me like a little prison. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It's a tough one. The poll is now finished. No, you can no longer vote, my friends. We'll get to the results in a second, but first I want to turn my attention to some interesting comments I got on Instagram with regards to this. I think mixing boys and girls better reflects real life. This is from Adrian Schultz. Schools should prepare you for that. It's interesting, right? It's interesting. And I think we've nailed it, Dan. I think we've nailed it. I think the difference is what you see as a function of school. Is it to educate you, or is it to prepare you for the outside world? I think school, if I'm honest with you, is to make you, is to prepare you. I mean, it's both things, isn't it, in reality? But it's to prepare you to enter corporate servitude. To be a better hormiga, to be a better ant in the anthill. And, a better ant would surely, be able to tell the difference between a worker, a soldier, and a queen, right? Anyway, Hannah Mercer says, it depends on the child. Some students genuinely thrive in single-sex schools. And this was kind of where Sophie and I, my better half, kind of ended the discussion we were having, because she went to a single-sex school. I didn't. But my preconception was that they're harmful to children, and Sophie was pretty adamant that that's not the case. I mean, I can only imagine that the learning environment is better. I think it has to be better for learning, right, Dan? Not having the distraction of women around or men or whoever it is, whatever that distraction is, that hormonal pull when you're entering your teens. Oh, I want to dress nice because I'm going to see whatever, I'm going to see Jessica tomorrow. Oh my God, better get some new sneakers. And then Jessica's there. Oh, I'm so nervous to read this book. You erase all that and you just sat among peers and colleagues. I mean, it's easy as an adult to say, well, surely that's not so much of a distraction. But we're not coursing with teenage hormones, are we? In reality, if we think back to those times, was there anything outside the opposite sex when I was a 16-year-old? Probably not. That's all I thought about. Go on, Dan. All right, I'm so scared of what you're going to say.
Let kids fall in love and all those things.
Yeah. I mean, look, there's probably going to be a lot less teenage pregnancy at a single-sex school. I'll just go out and say it.
But that's not the problem of both sex schools. That's a problem of sexual education.
Yeah, that's true. Anyway, let's continue. Mihai says, separating kids by gender can reinforce stereotypes instead of breaking them down. That's true as well, isn't it? Aren't we supposed to be treating everyone as equals? That's not to say a single-sex school is in its nature saying women good, men bad, or men good, women bad. It's not saying that, but the fact that we have to be segregated, that we can't just be equals on a level playing field, doesn't it reinforce that to some degree? It's a tough one today because as I'm saying things, I'm rebutting them in my head. Laura Giovanni says, I don't think the issue is whether a school is single-sex or mixed. The quality of teaching matters far more. Yeah, true story. Whether that is sex ed. And did you have sexual education in your school, Dan?
1 or 2 classes, yes.
It was part of our biology class. And it was a Roman Catholic school, so we saw the typical fear-mongering video of abortions. We were warned that, or we were told that abstinence is the best method for not getting someone pregnant. Just don't have sex. Don't do it. And of course, my school rife with teen pregnancies. So what is an adequate way of teaching? Because kids aren't going to listen, Dan. I'm sorry, kids aren't going to listen. You hear your teacher saying, use a condom, kids, if indeed that is what they're teaching at schools today. Don't get pregnant, don't spread communicable diseases. Use a condom. And kids are going to be kids, aren't they? Kids are going to be kids. Let's see. I don't see how having kids grow up thinking the other gender is an alien species can do them any good. But we're assuming that is what they teach in a single-sex school, and I don't think they do they? It's just an environment. It's just an environment. And then what happens after school? Like, you don't finish school and then are locked away in a segregated world, are you? I mean, one thing I will say, Dan, is that although Sophie went to a single-sex school, she does have 3 brothers. So it's not like she wasn't tuned into a more masculine mindset. Is that the case if you may be an only child and go to a single-sex school? How does that pan out? It's interesting. Bridge says, I really see no difference. And Mike here says, the solution for teenage pregnancy is not same-sex schools. It's free condoms. Yeah, maybe. It's an interesting one today, guys. Thank you so much for participating so well. A fascinating discussion today. And I think, let's get to the results of the poll before we get into what I think. All right, so I made the statement that same-sex schools are bad for children. Let me see. Let me just find the translation. Same-sex schools are bad for children. Los colegios... where are we? Los colegios segregados por sexo son perjudiciales para los niños. And you guys said 75% true. Okay, this is how it boils down for me, Dan. I don't approve of all men clubs. They exist in the world. This is just for men. This is for men. I wouldn't approve of the same thing for women. This is just for women. No men allowed. I don't approve of segregation in any sense. I'm glad that the Boy Scouts now admit girls. I think that's a general positive force in society. So I find it hard to fit in my head the idea that we should be encouraging same-sex schools and not co-ed schools. That's where I'm at. And Dan, to be honest, I think you're right. I think it's a matter of education, sex education, and the quality of education. I mean, my school was packed, and it was, a low economic band of people. When I say that, I don't mean it as any insult, but the fact of the matter is, at my school, kids didn't really care that much about learning, and they cared much more about the social aspect. What is the ethos or the vibe in the school, I think, is much more important. Is it an academic environment? Are all the students on the same page learning? How are the rules enforced? I think that maybe makes a stronger impact than whether you can see the opposite gender or not across the desk. Doesn't it? I think so. Bridge here says, remember the Poncelo campaign, Rob? I do remember that. So I think where a few of our commenters on Instagram kind of really sold me on this one. And obviously you guys too, because he's 75% true today in the poll here in the chat, is that it's more a question of the quality and the quality of the teaching and the kind of teaching. The how the rules are enforced in the school is much more important than it only being one gender or one sex. But you know what all those are, friends? Those are just opinions. And as Grandpa Bo would say, opinions, they're like buttholes. Everyone has one, and they all stink, including mine. Let's move on to today's 100 Humans. It was a tough one today, Dan. It was a tough one. We had a little a sidebar, Dan and I, while I went for my regular coffee refill. Right, Dan? And he said, what did you say? He said that it's tough because everyone seems to agree today. Right?
Yes.
But there is nuance in there. There is nuance in that argument. And I think we did do a pretty good job at finding it. So I do thank you all for your contributions today. Mike here, we'll let him have the final word, says, plus a lot of this same-sex schools are boarding ones. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, so they live on campus. Anyway, it was a long walk to work today, friends, across snow-capped... Jeez, Dan, what's happening to my mouth? Across snow-capped mountains and through river valleys, and on that walk, I encountered 100 humans, and I asked them all a question. Today's question was, name something you don't learn at school. Nombra algo que no se aprende en el cole, or en el colegio. I asked them that question, they gave me their answers. I'm in possession of the top 7 answers right here. Your job in the audience is to identify those top 7 answers. Big thank you to DV Suarez, Carlos, Fenokitty, Juan Arreo, Georgius, Rancha Delgado, Pilar, that's all folks, Ivan Samroff, Ivan GP, Emily, Anakasan, Noel, many, many others. Thank you all. If I didn't read out your name, Uncle Rob still loves you. All right. Name something that you didn't learn in school, Dan.
How to pay your annual taxes.
Taxes. It's a good one. Yeah, it's a good one, and a lot of people on Instagram agreed. Taxes. DV Suarez said taxes. Doing your taxes, says Carlos as well. Is taxes there? Oof. Oh, Dan, you're not going to like it. You're not going to like it, but I'm going to give it to you. Although, have you noticed, Fox, he's a little less angry when he gets the benefits of
No, I'm disappointed.
He's a little less disappointed when he gets the benefits of my string tying. It's not atar cables. What is it when you...
Atar cabos.
Atar cabos, thank you. Thank you. That's a common mistake that I make all the time. So, yeah, anyway. So, yeah, he's not all that offended when I do it with him. All right, budgeting. Gestionar el dinero. Budgeting is there. 10 of 100 humans said that. 4th place. Well done, Dan and Carlos and Mr. Suarez. All right, let's see. Vero says emotional management. Eesh, emotional management. Yeah, there's something... Oof. God, there is a whole slew of answers similar. Self-awareness, self-confidence. I can't give it to you, though. I don't think I can give it to you. I'm sorry. What else do we have? Gardening, says the bridge. Gardening, something you don't learn in school. Gardening. It's a good answer. It's not there. Pwah, pwah, pwah. Mike says cooking. Cooking. Cocinar. Did you not do cooking at school? Any cooking at all, then?
No.
You didn't do home economics?
No.
Oh, God, we did at my school. We did. Well, not complicated stuff. But we had to bake a cake. Is cooking there? Yes, it is. Well done, Mike. Well done, Mike. On fire today. Cocinar. 3rd most popular answer. 12 of 100 humans. How are you doing, Con? Joining us from South Africa. Parenting, says Mike. Parenting. Well, for the slew of girls that got pregnant at my school, that was something they ended up learning at school age. But do they teach it in school? No, they don't. Well done, Mike. It's there.
Sorry. Because of the no, they don't.
I know, Dan. I know you're not really listening. You just tuned in of certain words. It's my bad. I should be more sensitive to that. Parenting is there. And guess what, Dan? With your blah, blah, blah. 38 of 100 humans said parenting. It's the number one answer. Oh, Daniel. I'm not angry, Daniel. I'm just disappointed. All right, let's take a look at some of our friends on Instagram. I already said a few people said taxes. Negotiation says Fenokitty, great answer. Also says changing a tire. Yeah, something. Yeah, they should teach. I think they do that in American schools. They do driver's education, don't they? Driver's ed. We don't do it here in Europe. Go on, Dan.
But you want kids to learn how to change a tire when they cannot drive?
It's a very useful skill, though. It's a very useful skill.
Well, teach them when they are on the driving lessons.
Yeah, they've already left school. A lot of people have already left school, haven't they, by that time? That's the benefit. In the US, I think they start driving from 16, so it's probably different, isn't it? Anyway, thank you for that one, Fenokitty. I'm so sorry for Dan's negging your brilliant answer. Yucking your yum. I'm sorry for Dan. I don't know. He didn't sleep well last night, guys. Juan Arreo, he's so grumpy when he hasn't slept. Juan Arreo says sex. Yeah, they certainly don't teach it. And I think it's a consequence of being at school sometimes. Georgius, emotional intelligence. Okay, you know what, Georgius? I'm going to take your emotional... Oh, really? Are we running out of time? Oh, man. I'm going to take your emotional intelligence, mix it with a bunch of Vero's answer, and give you empathy. Empathy is there. Well done. I know, Dan. I know you don't like it. I saw you shake your head. 19 of 100 humans said empathy. Let's go through the list. We're out of time. Okay, I asked 100 humans to name something you don't learn in school. In position number 7. We had networking. In position, networking 6. Is hacer contacto. 6 is self-care. Cuidado personal. In position number 5. Relationships. Relaciones. In position number 4. Budgeting. Gestionar el dinero. Well done, Dan, kind of, for that one. In position number 3. Cooking. You got that one. Cocinar. In position number 2. Empathy. Empatia. 19 of 100 humans. And finally, in position number 1. Parenting. Ser madre o padre. Living life, driving, good manners, cooking. A lot of great answers here. Good manners, says Noel. Great answers in the chat. But that's all we've got time for today. See you at the lunch. See you next time.